welcome. You're watching a special programme on Dawn News. I'm joined today by British Foreign Secretary David Miliband, who's visiting Pakistan, albeit very briefly, and to the left of him is David Martin, who's head of the British Council in Islamabad. We're also joined by a cross-section of young people from Pakistan, because they are, of course, the future of this country. They're between the ages of 18 and 24, I believe, either going to college or studying in university. And we really want to hear from them about how they feel about the future of Pakistan and discuss it with David Miliband here today. So I'd like to start myself by asking a question about what you understand of the Pakistani people and what you know of what the Pakistani government expects of Britain and the relationship you have.
Well, this is my sixth visit to Pakistan in the last 2.5 years, and I've got to know some of its people as well as most of its leaders. And obviously in Britain we have a million-strong community of British citizens who have Pakistani heritage. So that's my engagement with Pakistan. I've also read the fascinating report that the British Council have put together of the attitudes of young Pakistanis, which speaks to great aspiration but low expectations and some fears about the future. And from our point of view in Britain, we don't just have a historic link with Pakistan, a historic responsibility or a historic set of relationships. We don't just have a cultural set of relationships or a personal set of relationships, because Britain's Pakistani community are our neighbours, our workmates, in some cases our relatives and our friends. And we don't just have those links, we also have very common shared opportunities and threats. And the opportunities are about how we build trade, how we work together on big international issues, which is part of the reason I'm here. But we also have shared threats, notably from terrorism, that mean that we've got to work together on security issues.
Let's pick that one up, in fact, about the links to terrorism and the fact that terrorism is really predominant in our headlines these days in Pakistan. Habiba Yunus has a question related to terrorism and what we can do.
So much money is being spent on the war against terrorism in Pakistan. So how are you going to address the core problems of Pakistan, like unemployment, social injustice and illiteracy?
I think that's a really important point. I mean, any country where the defence budget is many times the education budget has got serious problems in store. We know the answer isn't just more aid, although Britain is increasing its aid to Pakistan, about £650 million over 4 years. And the Americans want to increase their aid as well under the Kerry-Lugar bill that I know has been a source of controversy, but that is a sign of commitment to non-military investment in the future of the Pakistani people. So you're absolutely right that the core problems are those of injustice, inequality, poverty, lack of political voice, which is certainly an issue in the tribal agencies, and we want to get to grips with those. However, the security problems that you face are real and present, and they've claimed, the lives of 2,000 Pakistani civilians in the last year and 1,000 Pakistani soldiers. And that's why when on my first visit here I said I thought that the mortal enemy of Pakistan was internal terrorism, and that's where the problem needs to be addressed. Now, saying that doesn't mean that there's only a military solution. In fact, you have to find the sort of economic, political and social solutions that you're talking about, in my view.
How can Britain help with that, though?
Well, I think we can help, first of all, through our aid and education programme of the Education Task Force, which is a UK Pakistan initiative to make sure that the money that Pakistan does spend on education means that there are properly trained teachers in schools with decent facilities offering education to Pakistanis, because the report that comes out from the British Council shows that I think 70% of Pakistanis don't go to secondary school. I think 40% don't go to primary school. And that's the ways in which Britain can help, but we can also help in ways that maybe aren't immediately obvious to your audience. For example, one relationship that is nowhere near as good as it should be is between the European Union and Pakistan. There are 27 European Union countries, 500 million people. But it hasn't got a proper relationship of trade, of development, of cultural exchange with Pakistan. As a result of our initiative, it's beginning to develop that. And I think that's another way in which we can help.